Hi everyone. This is what happened to me when I got government housing part 92. In the last video I told you that the Department of Housing maintenance team had told me that I had to pay to have my front door repaired and that I had cancelled my maintenance request because I couldn't afford to pay for the door to be fixed. Then on the 22nd of the 12th, 2017, I received an email from the department which was acknowledging my request to cancel that repair. They seemed completely blasé about the fact that I was in danger of being broken into. And if anyone that I knew had taken that attitude towards me, I would have blasted them and broken off any association that I had with them. But doing that to the Department of Housing wasn't an option, given that this was my home that we were talking about. The way I was treated was obviously ruthless, but I felt like I had been conditioned to tolerate that from the Department of Housing and from other government bodies, such as the police, by the way they had treated me over the years. The other thing that happened that day was that I received an email from the Compensation Court saying that they were unable to list my hearing for compensation that year and may be able to do so in the following year. I couldn't believe it. I could say that I felt devastated and shocked, but I've said that so many other times throughout this series that I wish that I had other words to describe how I felt. But just to talk about the implications of this email might help to describe the reality of what that meant. It meant that I would have to get through Christmas in poverty again, and that I could not take my daughter on holiday. I was hoping to get a hearing before Christmas so we could get away and I could make Christmas special to take our minds off everything that happened. And if we got away, we wouldn't have to see everything at home that reminded us of what happened. Not getting a hearing before Christmas also meant that I had the court hearing hanging over my head, and I had no idea what was going to happen when it finally came up. I had waited so long for everything to be resolved, and I never doubted that I would get compensation because I knew I had enough evidence to support my claim, and I wanted to get compensation so I could buy things and change things at home and buy the things that I wanted to buy when I first moved in. I didn't get the chance to set up my government housing unit in the way that I wanted to because all my money was spent on court and administrative expenses related to court and property damage. So I was living in a unit that felt like it wasn't mine. I felt like I was reminded every day that I was just a temporary tenant and that I shouldn't relax because I could be turfed out at any time. By the 26th of the 12th, 2017, I was still going to the laundrette to wash my clothes, and because my money had been depleted, I would sometimes have to choose between buying food or washing my clothes. The Salvation Army give people on welfare vouchers to buy food from supermarkets, but people are supposed to only get them around 3 times a year, and I could have got them every week and still needed more support. I lived with no hope of buying anything that I wanted and no hope of buying most of the things that I needed. I planned working on an application for compensation for my washing machine and dryer, but at that stage, I couldn't force myself to do it. Then on the 31st of the 12th, 2017, I went to Cash Converters to take out a $150 loan, and I wanted this loan so I could take my daughter to the movies. I thought that all the hardship that we suffered would be worth it in the end because I believed I would get compensation. But I was still conscious of trying to make things as normal as I could and still trying to have fun when we could afford it. And that was a problem because we just couldn't afford to do anything, including basic things like buying nutritious food and doing the washing, which is why I had to resort to taking out a loan. So I took out a $150 loan, and although the movie tickets were only $18 each back then, I paid for them and I paid for our dinner and transport, and for some reason, after paying for all of that, there was virtually nothing left. I emailed an MP again, but I don't remember what I said, and I wanted to email a current affairs program on mainstream TV to tell them about the Department of Housing wanting me to pay for my own repairs, but I don't remember if I did that either, which was probably because of the fact that I didn't get a response to the last email that I sent them.